Welcome to Kenpo University. My name's Al Babinick, and I'm your instructor. The definition of angle of deflection is hitting at or on an angle that causes a deflection or glancing strike. You want to think when you deflect something, it's bouncing off. So if I had a big soccer ball and I threw it at the wall this way, it would hit the wall and bounce off that way. It would deflect off the wall. If I took the soccer ball and I threw it straight against the wall, it'll bounce straight back at me. That's an angle of incidence. We're not talking about that today. All right? So an angle of deflection is when you're trying to hit somebody or they're trying to hit you and you're blocking or striking at such an angle where it kind of bounces off them a little bit. All right? You're not hitting square. So if I was standing here and somebody threw a straight punch right at my chest right here, that would be hitting square and it would knock me straight backwards. If I was turned sideways and somebody threw a punch and hit me in the patch, do you see how my body's not square to the target or to the strike? So the strike would come in, hit my patch or hit me, it'd move me. There's nothing wrong with doing that strike, but the strike's going to bounce and go past. All right? So an angle of deflection is whether you're blocking. So I want you to think about the yellow technique, deflecting hammer. Okay? Deflecting, right in the name. So when you do deflecting hammer and you're standing here and the guy's going to throw his kick at you, you're shuffling back. Now, by the way, I like to start deflecting hammer in a fighting stance. You can start it like this if you want to, okay? But to me, if the guy's going to kick me, I'm in a fighting stance. So, but I'm here, my hand's in position to block that kick. I don't want it over here. My hand's in position. When that kick comes in, I'm not trying to hit it straight off to the side. I'm not hitting it square. I'm hitting it at this angle. So when I shuffle back and I block down and this hand comes back, then I hit at an angle of deflection. I deflected his kick, okay, which is I'm not trying to turn the guy. I want him to fall right into my elbow. So I want this to go back and I want him to fall right into my elbow as I do it, okay? So if I hit with an angle of incidence and I knocked his leg that way, it might turn him. Again, not a bad thing. You can do it if you want to, but it's not the technique. Okay, you'll start running into other things if you start doing that, or other techniques. You know, be easy to go right into the backbreaker, and so it's not a bad thing. But an angle of deflection is if I'm blocking, that's one of them right there. Another one where a lot of times people will do it, but it's more of an accident than anything, I'm going to stick in yellow. So when we're doing attacking mace, so attacking mace is against a right step through punch. So I'm standing here minding my own business, as usual. Some guy's trying to punch me, as usual. Don't know why, but they do it. So as he's trying to punch me, I step back, I get my block, and my hand's on my ribs. When I throw this punch, and I throw my punch at the guy, if this is too low or on the side, what you want to remember, when he stepped forward, his body turned, okay? So he's not like this. He's not punching like that. He turned sideways when he hit you. So this is a curved surface right here, right? So when you throw that punch, well, first of all, you want to hit up high, just to let you know, because you're supposed to knock the guy backwards. But if you hit on the wrong part of the curve, if you hit over here someplace, your punch is going to deflect off. If you hit on this side of the curve over here, just like trying to punch the patch, it's going to deflect off. So you have to hit square. You want to hit with an angle of incidence, okay? You hit square and move the guy back. That's why you got to, I got to catch his arm before he gets too far. But I see people do it with an angle of deflection. So sometimes you want the angle of deflection, like deflecting hammer, and sometimes you don't want an angle of deflection. So you don't want an angle of deflection, you want an angle of incidence in attacking Mace. So that's a little bit of the difference between the two. We'll be doing another video on angle of incidence too, and probably the same examples, okay? So an angle of incidence is you're hitting perfectly square, and your punch it'll be a really, really good strike, okay? And that's normally what you want when you're hitting people. But an angle of deflection, I could block with it, I could punch with it, but if I wanted to do a technique where I'm gonna palm and just hit the side of their jaw, their mastoid, so I glance past just so I could hook and pull them into a knee or an elbow or something like that. So if I want to do a glancing palm or a glancing salute, you might say. So if I want to do my glancing salute, this glances past or deflects past the mastoid. I do my 3-finger frictional pull, and then I finish with my knee and elbow as we come through. So that's where we want to do a deflection. I want to hit with an angle of deflection, I don't want to punch him in the throat and hit square. The guy will move away from me. There goes the technique. All right? But there you go. Angle of deflection and a little bit of the angle of incidence. Thank you for watching this video production from Kenpo University.